Hi guys, my name is Tony, Ulrich Cantier on the Merc forums. I am the personnel officer of the Mandalorian Mercs Costuming Club. Basically my job is to approve anyone's kit that comes through. Now I have the largest team on the Mercs. This is only a fraction of it. What we do is you apply to the club, we look at your kit, and we compare it to our costume requirements or our CRLs. Now, we're also kind of the bad guys of the club because we've got to say, well, we need to make adjustments here, adjustments there. But we are probably the most helpful part of the club because we're very hands-on. So again, we kind of have the stigmata of, oh, we got to go here, we got to go there, let's change this. But this is to show you guys the process of it. So if you have any questions, this is a very open forum panel. We do have 3 people who have already been identified, I believe. Right, Jim? Yes. So let's go ahead and grab them. That we're going to do armor for. Now, these people were picked at random. But you'll be able to take this armor home, and we'll get contact information for more stuff to follow. So let's let everyone pile in a little bit. A couple more minutes. Let's get Jim set up here, and we're going to get started. And guys, let me introduce to you my less prettier partner, Matt. This is one of my XOs. I have 4. I know it's kind of weird, 4 XOs, but the team is so large and we have so much going on. So this is Matt Dahlbrow on the forums. He's also the XO of our Brigade's division. So he's going to be helping me out. Matt, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Dahlbrow on the forums. Been at Merc for a few years now, and you know, everything about it and this club is just fantastic. And you know, I've been on a lot of the forums online, and the community that happens within Mercs is, you know, the growth and how you're immediately accepted and helped is unmatched for the groups. You know, as far as the armor goes, I mean, it's an intricate process, but it's not difficult. And with the help that we provide on the app team, and your clan officers, and just knowledgeable veterans around, and we're going to show you how fast and how accurate and how well it can be done in a very short time.
Now that being said, guys, girls, Ewoks, it does not happen this fast. My first kit took me 6 months to build. I was very sloppy. It's your first kit. I've never done this before until I joined this club. Never had done anything like this. Was not art. Like stick figures is a difficult task for me. But since my time with the club, all the information we have, I'm able to not only build I'm pretty happy with my kit. Mine's a yellow and the black one, right in the middle right there. That's my second kit. This was my more ambitious kit that took me 2 years to build. Now, why did it take so long? I wanted my kit to stand out. I wanted it to be unique. And yellow is a very unique color. It's also my favorite color. It's also y'all's favorite bucket, right? Up there, yeah? The yellow one? All right, yes, yes. Guys, you don't have to lie to me. It's okay. We can still be friends. But it's different on the level of detail that you want to take. No kit is the same. We've got greeblies all over the place. Gauntlets are different. Shoulder pauldrons, weapons. I mean, this is where you get to go all out and really do the cool stuff that you see in Star Wars. Like, you know what, I like that piece, but I want it on this piece. Now, of course, there's that ballpark we have to play in, but it's a very, very big ballpark. So, we're going to do something ambitious with 3 kits in an hour. This takes a lot longer, but in an armor party, is what we call these. This is a simulated armor party. This is where a group of the people, you get together in your local clan, your local region, and you guys build armor. A lot of times it's different. Each clan's different. We barbecue. My clan cooks for me when I come out because I'm pretty much put to work as soon as I get there. But it's a social gathering. It's a family. And that's what the Mercs is. Star Wars Celebration is not just celebration for us. It's a family reunion. We get to see all these faces. I've known Matt for 3 years now, and this was the first time I'd actually seen him face to face. So of course the bonds grow even stronger when we finally get to actually put a face to a voice. And this is what the armor parties are. You get to build that bond with the clan that you're with. And on top of that, you get to learn a lot of cool techniques. Because one thing we do not do, most people, we won't build the armor for you. What we will do is direct you, because it's a rite of passage. When you're building this armor, you want it to be something of your own design. If I did it for someone, it cheapens the experience. Now, I will help someone, I will show someone, but we want you guys to do it yourselves, because when it's all said and done, that's Nick's armor. Nick did that. In fact, he was working on it, what, 3 days before celebration still?
I literally finished that helmet just before I left for celebration.
Which is the right of the yellow one right there.
The red visor.
So, always doing upgrades to our kits. It never stops, unfortunately, or fortunately, as my wife will tell you, I am not allowed to do anything in the house anymore. I have a workshop. The yellow kit destroyed my kitchen, by the way. I was in the doghouse for quite a while. So I lived and slept on the couch in my armor because that was the only consoling moments I had. So, guys, I would not want you to sit here all quiet and listen to me talk all the time, though I can talk the entire time. We definitely want questions. Questions, any kind of question. There's no wrong question. Ask what they're doing. Ask what materials. Yes, sir.
Where can you buy those heat guns?
So, gentleman here asked, where do you buy the heat guns? This is a great question. Most of our materials you can find at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Harbor Freight. The two tools I use most, glue gun, hot glue gun, heat gun, and a Dremel. I think I can perform surgery with the Dremel by now. I wouldn't advise it, but I think I could. I feel confident I could make that happen. These are all cheap tools. Believe it or not, who wants to take a guess at how much this armor costs to make? Nick, come here. Come here. How much do you think this armor would cost to make? 30 bucks? This sheet of plastic is 30 bucks, by the way, which is actually pretty cheap. You can build this armor for about 200 bucks. Because you have most of it in your home already, believe it or not. A flight suit, if you don't have one, you can get a pair of work pants. They got to be the same color, like Nick's is the same color. But the nice thing about this, guys, you can take anything and make this stuff. If you're creative, you have the will to do it, you have the desire to do it, you can go right in and make this stuff. Now, my kit's a lot more expensive, but I also tore it down 3 times trying to build it. But it doesn't mean that this isn't possible to do on a budget and do it really well. Because the details aren't what this is made out of. The details are, what did you do for the paint, the weathering, what was your unique spin to it, which doesn't cost money, that costs time, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of this kit. What would you say, Matt?
No, with what Tony was saying, absolutely. You know, the uniqueness of Mandalorian is one of those things that we try for.
You agree?
You know, we see a lot of kits that are, I mean, everybody has the same reference material, so everybody thinks the same. We encourage people to think outside the box as far as their paint schemes. When I built my second kit, and I was thinking about what colors I wanted to do for it, and you know, I'd seen so many kits come through, I couldn't think of a kit that I wouldn't be associated with color scheme. So I decided I wasn't going to be identified by a kit or by a color on a kit. You know, say what kit is his, and they're going to look at it and say, dirt? Because my kit is probably one of the dirtiest in Mercs, you know, and then following up with a prototype vet that's, you know, squeaky clean white. But no, you know, Tony's absolutely right. You know, about the building and the materials. The materials are fairly inexpensive and they're available. The color schemes that we go through, you know, there's really nothing that's, you know, they're very, very, very wide range of what we're going to accept as far as the CRLs go and the quality clauses and everything else. You know, accessories on the armor. Nick's got his pauldron. You know, we encourage, you know, the additions, but, you know, the other thing we want to push, you know, that I encourage my Russo and the clan officers to go with is just, you know, it's important to make a kit that's within the CRLs and approvable. Upgrade later. You know, you don't need all the bells and whistles to go right away. It's important that you get official and get out there and become part of your clans.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so she asked, what do we use to attach the pieces to the material? So there's several different methods. One, we all have to have a vest. Jesse, come here. So Jessie here, it's kind of hard to tell because hers is black, but it's got a red trim on the outside. She's got a vest. This is her flight suit, but the vest is right here. Jesse, take a walk down so they can kind of see it. And, woo, yay! Now, we attach the armor plates to the vest because, again, in the movies, what did we see on Boba Fett, Jango Fett? We saw vests. So we try to keep it as close to canon. Now, these CRLs have evolved as Rebels, the Clone Wars, so we're always evolving our costume requirements to make it beneficial for everyone to join. But the attachment methods, magnets. A lot of people use magnets. I'm not a fan of them just because I live in the desert, and any attachment method I've used magnets, the magnet falls off the vest. Snaps, that's actually something that I'm not sure, I don't have anyone up here who snaps on, but snaps is a nice way. It snaps in place, it doesn't move. Industrial strength, Velcro, which is what I use because I can wash my kit. And I live in the desert, so I really want to wash my kit. As my wife says, I can't take it in the house after a con, I have to wash it first. So those are different methods you can use. None of them are wrong, none of them are the right way. It's the way that you want it to be and what's going to work best for where you're at. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Industrial strength Velcro is something you can get at Hobby Lobby. Now, don't get the standard Velcro because you need that industrial strength because you want it to smack on there. You don't want it to fall off, and it's something that you're going to have to replace as time goes on because Velcro does wear out. Yes, sir. So Josh here has an example of what the snaps look like. He's actually got snaps and Velcro, so he's got the best of both worlds. So just to remind me, another thing I didn't mention was Joann's. Joann's and Hobby Lobby is also where you can get that. So auto emblem glue is what Josh used for his snaps. Like I said, I don't use snaps, so again, we learn something every day. That's what the club's about, is we trade our secrets. There's nothing we keep to ourselves. We definitely want to include everyone. And I'm going to hold it up here. As you see on his right side, you see the snaps and the Velcro. Combining the two methods, make sure that the armor plates stay where they go, which is the key. You want to look like Boba the entire time you're walking, not something where it's all jumbled together like my first kit was. And he's actually got Sterilite, which is it's one of the trash cans you get at Walmart. Believe it or not, plastic is such a readily available. Had another question over here, I'll get right with you. Yes, yes, sir. Okay, so metal snaps, rivets, because it's just too heavy. But you can combine Velcro to it. Now with the heat, epoxy, E6000, quick grip is my favorite because it does have some shift to it. But here's the sad truth of it. I live in the desert. It gets 120 degrees out there. And I do troop in the 120 degrees. I know I'm crazy, but I love this stuff. So I troop all year round. Come July, I'm gonna be out there in my armor. You have to make repairs because the heat's going to degrade it. You be smart about it. You try to pull the kits out in different times. You look at the weather, like, all right, this is going to be a peak time. Probably not good to pull it out, but I definitely don't leave it in the car. You leave the stuff in the car, it'll warp. It happens all the time. So you definitely want to take care of it. This is a labor of love. You don't want to have to do this twice. Trust me. I never want to have to build a kit again, and yet I bought a helmet yesterday, so I'm going to build another kit. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the difference here, and this is Cassie's armor. She is here at the local clan. This is two variations between Jesse and Cassie of women armor. And this is what we call modern era. Now, you have a different set that we do not have anyone here with. It's called Legacy. And Legacy is all segmented armor. So it's actually almost like Lamellar armor, samurai armor, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So those are some things that, there's so many different variations. That's why I encourage everyone, go to our forums because you look at our costume gallery, that'll inspire you alone. You don't have to have any ideas coming there. We'll help. You draw on a stick paper, and we can make it help you out. Like, hey, well, try this, try that. So there's a lot of different routes that we can go. Did that answer your question there? Kind of? Good? Okay. Yes, sir. Good question. So he asked about where do we get the helmets. So, let me put this back here. What's the most iconic piece of costuming gear for a Jedi? Lightsaber. What's the most iconic piece for Vader's kit? His helmet. That is our most iconic piece, is the T-Visor. It is what makes a Mandalorian Mandalorian. That's that T-Visor. You see it? You see the faded images where you have the pictures where you see Boba Fett, and what do you see? You see the T-Visor. So, this is the one piece of gear you're going to spend the most money on either making or buying. We have some really, really talented helmet makers in the club that actually make these helmets. And you're looking anywhere between $100 to $250. In some cases, my case was $350. Why? Because I bought a 1 of 13 and I had to wait 3 years for someone to sell it. It's because you want that specific look. You don't want to cheapen out on the helmet. If you build it, same thing. You want to make it sturdy because these helmets are going to fall. Mine's fallen off a table twice. I'm very fortunate that the mold is really good because I can't get it if it ever breaks. And it has, I've just repaired it, but you'd never be able to tell. You don't want to cheapen the process of buying a helmet or building a helmet because it is your most iconic, it's what makes you Mandalorian. When you get that helmet, it's not, you have not really committed to it until you have the helmet. Once you have the helmet, when we're building kits, that's when we know you're serious about it. Now, Brian over here, Brian, raise your hand. So Brian is probably one of our most talented custom helmet makers. He makes his own helmets. And I can't get him to stop making helmets. His wife up here can attest to that. But he does a phenomenal job. I can't sculpt anything. Like I said, I don't have the artistic bone in me. But Brian, on the other hand, does. And he's going to be building up a tutorial so that way we can show people how to do a custom helmet from scratch. Because some people want to get that involved with it. I got a question over here. Yes, sir.
The brands and paint, I mean, I know people that use acrylic brush on. I know people that use rattle can spray paints, automotive paints, and then when you get into further advanced stuff, you get into your airbrushing paints. The brands, I mean, Rust-Oleum's a perfect brand. Krylon's a good brand. If you're going to use your rattle cans, you go into your acrylic enamels. You get your testers, your model masters. You get into those colors, and you can kind of you'll have a choice of 30 different types of green. Instead of if you're looking at rattle can, you got a choice of 3. So one of the important things, and one of the things that sometimes a lot of people miss when they're painting, are primers. Primers are important. You got to make your surface of these plates abrasive. You got to be able to grip that primer. Otherwise, there's a little bit. The stuff is thermoform, so it does have some flex to it. That stuff flexes without a good abrasive surface on it. Without that primer, that paint's going to pop right off. And it happens, especially when you want to put a design on it, you put your masking tape over it, you pull that off, it's going to rip it right off. So primers are important. But as far as paints go, you're pretty much open to people brush, people, rattle can, people airbrush. It's all, what you have, what you dribble with, and, and what you want to do with your kit.
Yes, ma'am. So she asked what kind of flaws will get us rejected. Believe it or not, it's simple stuff. It's the spacing. We like to go with the thumb length. It doesn't have to be my thumb, it's your thumb. Because your body frame, believe it or not, that thumb is a perfect measurement for the space between you because it's scaled to your body. So you use a thumb, your thumb, and you scale between the plates. If you look right here, we're going to turn him towards the camera. Okay. Now you got to see right here, you see the space right here? Spacing is our biggest kickback. And everyone can be like, well, that's kind of nitpicky. That's kind of the process. We want your armor to look like you walked out of a movie set. The application process is viewing your armor in the most perfect state. Will it stay that way when you troop? No. But we want to see what it looks like if it would. That's all we're wanting to do is manipulate it to see what the armor looks like in its most perfect state. So yes, spacing is our biggest issue. Let me get this gentleman over here real quick. He had his hand up. Yes, sir. Yep. So yes, how far can you open it up before it gets kicked back? You don't want to manipulate it too much. You want that thin look because remember, if you look at Boba and Django, it's very thin. Now some kits, we have a legacy bucket that was around. See, like his kit right here is almost a variation, almost like your legacy era. It's a little different here. If you look in the comics for the legacy buckets, this is what was it, Fallon Scarada? No, was it? Scarada Arms. Who was the Mandalorian? Condor. And Hondo Card. Thank you. Thank you. Just, who did you get? Thank you. Thank you. And he's got another Star Skull shirt on. So awesome. Yes.
To jetpack or not to jetpack?
Oh, to jetpack or not to jetpack?
Jetpack. Jetpack after you're official.
So, I'll be right with you. So, jetpack or not to jetpack? I rock a jetpack. Here's the thing. Is anyone wrong for not wearing a jetpack? Yeah.
Oh, don't be like that, Tony. Don't be like that.
No, it's not true. Because you have different, think of this as you're going into a tactical situation. Do you really want to have a jetpack on? Oh, I do. But it's what you want. Remember, it's really your preference. Some people don't like the jetpacks, I'll be honest with you. I've got bad shoulders. It tears me up. And today it's going to tear me up when I put it on. But I'm going to look awesome doing it. And yes. So she asked, where do you get your plastics? There's several different places you get it. Any kind of plastic store, like locally for us is Piedmont Plastics. You look for a plastic store because they're going to have a lot of this available stuff. Now, resin, if you're going to do resin molds and casting, which is great if you're talented to do that, there's a lot of tutorials to show you how to make a casting table and all that good stuff. So you got to get that stuff online. That's where you're going to get the cheapest. Woo, you got some questions now. You guys are awake now. So the templates we can get online, and you scale them small, medium, large. I believe we did adjust it to where we have the small, medium, large now, right?
Yeah, we have. The first ones we cut were a touch on the small side. We went back, cut some bigger ones so we can kind of open it up to bigger people. And when you print the templates here, I mean, it's very easily. I mean, there are scales on there. You know, scale it to this percent if you're this height. You know, scale it to that percent for that height. So you can print these templates online. And as far as forming goes, after you cut them out of, I mean, you can score that stuff with a utility knife. You can cut it with good, industrial strength shears, and then a simple heat gun. I think you can get a heat gun from Harbor Freight for like $5 or something, and heat it up, heats up very quickly. Push it right onto your frame, and you get that compound curve and that rounded shape, closing up the sides that you want.
And this is
you can use your own body, absolutely.
This is actually where it is straight now. On him, you can see it's already curved. Now, when you heat this stuff up really well, it'll get floppy, but it will not go to liquid. I've actually put it in a fire just to see if I could, and we couldn't burn the sucker. So, if you look at the projector, this is why I like Centra. We already snapped the plate. Now, you could cut a new piece out, but me and Matt will both tell you, why do that? You just had a natural break in your armor. Let's weather that sucker and make it legit. I've actually snapped my collar plate twice. It's still on my kit. Because what did I do? Well, let's go paint it up, let's weather it up, and now I actually have a story behind that piece of my armor that snapped because it's weathered. It looks like it's supposed to be there. I have some questions over here I'll get with you guys, okay? Yes, sir. That's
absolutely true.
Oh, no. These helmets up here, we've got some small ones, we've got some big ones. When you go to the forums, they scale the helmets. They'll tell you how many inches. If you ask, our vendors are great with that. So they can help you out with that. Let me get this gentleman here because he's had his hand up for a while.
No problem, brother. All good. Well, we could just take it.
So non-traditional themes, the humorous side, we don't allow. Because we have several people that have them. We encourage them, we let them hang out with us, but as far as official kit, you want to look like you walked out the movie. That is our definition. Our motto is we're here to approve, not deny. Now see your hand back there, I will make it back there to you. We're here to approve, not deny. Now, most of my club will kind of say, I don't know about all that, but it is, there we go, the Lucasfilm umbrella. So, with that, I encourage it. Camo patterns, we get a lot, we live in an age where, the whole tactical look is really cool. Me being ex-military, I love it as well. No off-the-shelf camo. So that means any multi-cam. Josh here has the fishnet camo, or snakeskin. That's not off the shelf. And people will argue with me, well, I'm former military special operations, so I can tell you, yes, we can use that. No, we cannot. So it's really about being creative, but falling in the realms of, would you see this in Star Wars? And we have a couple kits that look like they borderline it, but would you see this in Fallujah? Very most likely. Would you see this on Tatooine? Very most likely. So, yes, sir. So that's what do you do if your armor snaps completely in half? I make it to work because it provides a story, weathering. Now, if you want a clear, very clean kit, like the prototype up there where it has to be clean, that's why you use Sintra. Get another piece of make it. You get to have more fun making it. If it's snapped in half, you come to the booth, I'll show you how to fix it. Got it? All right, man. Yes. So she asked, what kind of range of motion is taken into consideration to design a kit? Let me tell you a story about Mr. Jeremy Bullock. They had to position him in a certain way, and he could only walk a few steps before they had to adjust the armor. So we've come a long way of the attachment methods, but unfortunately, to look as good as we do, our range of motion and say, Nick's got pretty good range of motion, but that's about it. I don't even have that, but I'm a really bulky kit. Yes, sir.
1 hour. You still need detailing on anything? Do a couple more diamonds.
So to join the club, you go to the MandalorianMercs.org. That's right, that's URL because we did change it, okay. MandalorianMercs.org, URL, sign up on our forums, go to our welcome thread where I guarantee you Havelock here will welcome you like he has done every recruit for the last 3 years. And I'm not lying, he actually has. And we have a lot of information that we want you guys to go there because I could spend hours talking about that one right there, but if you go there, sign up, find out where your clan is, contact them, we'll set up an armor party. They will literally set up an armor party because we're all about trying to grow the numbers and go from there because each person is going to have different needs, different questions, different capabilities, so we have to address them case by case. Yes, sir. We've gone through a complete form overhaul, so you probably just caught it on a really bad day. Yes, we have a complete form overhaul, like we're actually went live, I think, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Yes, sir.
How about this heat gun? Is it
It's rocking it.
For playing, yes, we have several metal kits out there. Dresden has probably the most massive metal kit I've ever seen. It's real metal. What is it? Is it aluminum?
It's 140 pounds of aircraft aluminum.
But we haven't. We gotta get the circle.
Guy's been working metal since he was walking. He knows what he's doing. It's a fantastic kit. He looks like a walking tank, and you can hear it. Someone told me a story the other day, asked him if he could jump in the kit. He said, I don't know, let me try. And he got about 2 inches off the ground, hit the ground, and you could feel the convention center around shaking. The guy is a walking tank. It's fantastic.
Yes, ma'am. Does the armor have to have knees? Matt, I'll let you do that.
It's knee coverage. You know, you can extend your shins up and plate the top of them as long as that knee is covered. But the knees, I mean, there are things within the CRLs that you absolutely need, the staples that you need. There are the standard light kit is the basic kit. You know, that's the chest places, the armor, or the chest pieces, the ab plate, the cod. Knees are in that basic. You know, the shoulders, those things. The knees are required unless you have a medical reasons where you cannot wear knees. You know, we have members in wheelchairs who is just, you know, knees are difficult for them to wear, and we make exceptions for things like that. But unless it's a medical reason, you're going to need knees.
Yes, sir. Visor. Welding visors, guys. Welding visors. We actually have a couple people. Emily just walked in, and she actually makes colorful visors. There she is. She makes actually colored prism visors. That's right. I just got her all embarrassed now. We have several members that will actually help you. They'll make it for you. Because, I mean, if you look at mine, mine's a goldish tint. We've got a couple of people who have silver tints. You want it to be unique in that aspect. Yes, sir.
There are different microphones you can get. I've been walking around, people like, where'd you get the voice changer? Where'd you get the, I don't have one. It's just, I just got lucky. But there are some, I know a lot of the stormtroopers, they have a little handheld mic, you know, they'll press it, they'll get the click right before, but that's absolutely not required. I don't know anybody in my clan that actually has one of those. We have, they're Acres voice amps, you can buy them easily on Amazon, online, and whatever, you can probably go to Walmart and get them. And it's just a wired headset. You run it down, put the box in a side pouch or something like that. You walk around, people don't know where it's coming from. So, I mean, it could really, you know, the voice amps and whatnot, $20, $30, up to, you can get a wireless one without a cord running for, you know, for more than that. But yeah, they're easily available online, the voice amps. Tony, you got somebody back there?
Yes, she asked about leather and bone kits. Oh, you had to ask this question.
What is it?
Leather and bone kits. So that's our early Crusader kits, which is the helmet I bought last night. And they're very interesting kits because early Crusader, there's not a lot of references towards it. We have very few, but they're the most artistic pieces of kit you have because you have to mold everything. Earth tone kits, it's a beautiful kit when you finally see it. We've got several in the club, Sutai. Sarah, she has one. It's probably the most phenomenal one I've ever seen. And now I'm going to try and build on top of it, which we know won't happen. But to answer that question, what do you mean by bone? Do you want to know what's acceptable? So leather, as long as it doesn't look like Ren Fair leather. And I know that's kind of a general statement, but we have a lot of people who try to cross over Ren Fair gear, and I understand that it's convenient, but realistically, is it Mandalorian? That's what we're trying to accomplish here with these kits. So if you use leather, you want it to look like it came from a universe. And yes, we have several kits that leather is a very staple part of their kit. Yes, sir. So Mauling tactical gear, no, because that's off the shelf. I just bought it from GI Supply, 511, and people always tell me, oh, it's not. Yes, it is, because I probably wore it at one point in time. We're trying to get people away from that. Now, question answered was, I know what's going to come next. The Force Awakens did have a Molly chest rig. There is a specific site that actually sells that chest rig, and we encourage everyone to buy that one because if it does not look exactly like it, we're not going to allow it because when you see a chest rig, the first thing I think of is that got from some surplus store. It didn't come from the movie. Yes, sir. Here's the beautiful part about the Mercs. You don't have to buy from a specific person. You can make it yourself. You don't have to, you're not required to buy from a certain vendor. You can be very creative. Now we do have a buyer disclosure, of course. You know, if you get it, we have ways we can handle it, because unfortunately sometimes the product's not what it's said to be, but that's a whole different story. But yes, you can use almost anything. Yes, sir.
Take your time.
How do you store and transport the armor? Okay, this is a very good question, because me and Matt were on the phone. Last week I was not looking to be able to come work, so I was like, nah, I'm not even worried about trying to pack the armor. And then we found out, hey Matt, I can go. Help me find a tub. So first thing you need to do is, if you're going to fly, you need to find out the regulations, which I believe is 80 inches. Yeah, 80 inches for Southwest, nothing over 100 pounds. My kit was 50 pounds on the dot and literally just fell in. It's a Husky little tote that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. I got mine at Home Depot. The problem is my kit's very massive. So I've had this massive blue tub that stood about 2 feet tall, 4 feet wide. I had to put in to a tub like this and this. So me and Matt were on the phone for a couple hours trying to figure out how I disassemble this armor, and it's gonna be fun putting it together today to make this work. And guess what? It's the first time I ever flew with the kit. I'm terrified because Matt knows how much time I put in the kit. It's actually still together, so I'm very thankful for that. Yes, sir. We do everything. Expanded Universe, Legacy, Legends, Canon. I will say this, our Canon kits, we do what with them?
Grade them well. Now, the Canon kits are something that not a lot of people think we do, and we don't see as many of them. You know, I mean, you have your 501st, and it's only Canon, and now Legend. What is Legends? You know, we absolutely encourage Canon. You know, being on the app team, we are knowledgeable. We know what we're looking for. I have a Legends kit. I have a prototype up there. You know, it was the first one approved in the club, and it's you know, absolutely Canon Legends. You know, if there is official source material with angles, you know, where we can see, Tony, the full 360 from basic angles, and it, you know, it is approved official material, not fan art, then absolutely we're gonna consider it. We're gonna talk about adding it on the CRL team if it's new material, if it's old material, if you think you have something that you can't find, you know, poke on the forums, ask if this is approvable, and you'll get an answer, I guarantee it.
And we do judge these kits very strictly, but I know for a fact, because I wanted to do Vader when I first got into costuming, that kit better look right. Why? It's the patron of the club. So Boba and Django, those are our patrons of our club. So rest assured, I mean, we're going to look at every single detail, which includes Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The shoulder belt is a different shade of orange, believe it or not. The blaster has significant differences that most people don't think about, that we look at. The hoses, there are so many different things. I think Boba has what, how many Canon CRLs?
How many are approvable and how many CRLs we have written?
How many have you written, Matt?
How many have I written? Oh, I don't know, half a dozen at least.
That's 12 for one character. But because we want to make sure that everything is screen accurate, because again, what do we want you to do? Look like you walked off a movie set. Yes, sir. What about what? Boots. That's actually a great question. So boots. One, you can't have laces being seen in it, so you'll see a lot of the boot armor. You'll see guys with laceless boots. Now, a big misconception is I want to be as tall as I can, so these guys get these like 12-inch platform boots. This is not a KISS concert, so of course we cannot rock that, but I would love to see a KISS mashup. They can be very low profile. For boots, almost anything can work. It's a boot, as long as the platform, and I think we do like, what, 1 inch on the platform boots?
What's that?
Is it 1 inch on the platform boots?
1 inch, you know, women can get into the wedges.
It depends on...
It's as long as you wouldn't look at it and go, high heel.
Yes.
That's the key. If it looks at it and it's not a high-heeled boot, you know, if it's questionable, you run it through your clan. You know, the clan will pick it up if they've got a question. But high heels are about where the line gets drawn.
Yes, ma'am. For the dogs? You know, we don't. But someone asked me about that because he's got a massive dog. I saw it. I was like, it's almost human size. I'm like, good God. So he wants to, he calls it his bantha. So we don't, just because a lot of cons, service dogs are not supposed to be dressed up.
There are no snaps, it's just forged around.
We don't have an approval process for them, but I mean, you can talk about it, post it. Like I said, it's a family environment. There's a lot of weird concepts that we see. So we'll get these two questions, and we're going to see the progress of where everyone's at.
That's the medium, right? Yeah. That's heated up, molten. Sorry. That's heated up, and then we're going to just slide it in.
So he asked the question, if it's brand new, how much influence should he allow? How open should he be to get help? You need to be very open-minded, because these guys are going to throw a lot of knowledge at you, but they're going to help you, but you're still going to do it. And there's so much information. That's why I say contact your local group, because what they're going to do is they're going to guide you in the way. So, yes, sir. Good question. Someone asked if it's possible to modify the helmets. We actually have amplifiers that allow the guys to set up with electronics that have a microphone and an amplifier, so when people are talking to you, it actually amplifies the voice sounds. I'll get you real quick. Yes, sir. Age is 18. 18, and that's just for liability issues. It's 18 years old. Now we do have a Verticate core for the children that you can have your kids apply to, which is still a little cool thing that we offer for the kids. It's on the realm of the Imperial Academy, fellow Versos. Now we are trying to revamp it to try and make it more lively. So that's something we're looking for. Look out for the future. Now let's see where our progress is. So, what's your name? What's your name? Aaron. Aaron. You look like an Aaron. So Aaron here has his torso armor done. Now granted, this is 30 minutes in. These are his shoulder bells. His collar plate is matching his own. Now granted, he's going to have a vest. So there's a little give in this. So yeah, you see gaps here, but we're going to have a vest that's going to pad that up. His chest diamond, his ab plate, his collar plate, his knees. I'm sorry, I'm sitting there. My bad, guys. You gotta direct me. Sometimes So, shoulder bells, chest plate, diamond, ab plate, knees, and the cod plate. So, Mr. Aaron here is actually done. What we would do at this point in time, finishing up this quick, we would prime this armor. We would paint it.
Sand it.
Sand it first, thank you. Now, we did not do a back plate. Let me explain why we did not do a back plate. Sintra is probably the worst material to make a backplate out of. It really is. I know this from past experiences. Let me just give you the best advice I can ever give someone on backplate. Buy the $30 to $40 ABS backplate. You'll be very happy with it, and it fits your body. It looks like a backplate. It's a small investment, but it's a lot easier than the headache of trying to mold that, because it's going to pinch, it's going to crack, you're going to have to crease it. Buy the ABS. I know it's like, oh, you asked me to spend money. Some people can make it happen. I am not one of those.
Now, my clan has a member. We call him the backplate whisperer, and just the backplate is an art, because you get a compound curve. You have to flex it out, you have to flex it down, you have to flex it in, and it has to come over the top. It's extremely difficult. And like Tony said, when you heat that stuff up and you start to bend it, it does want to come back. I mean, to form a backplate, you need 6 hands at once, pressing all, and you got to hold it there and make it really work. But as Tony said, the ABS backplates, I rock ABS backplates, love them. They're lighter. But again, some people want to do it, and it should be encouraged that you do try to make a backplate. Backplates aren't required for an entry-level kit. A back covering is. So this gentleman, Aaron up here, could have a cape coming off that as long as it covers his back and takes the place of a back plate. As far as visually, the idea behind it is that a back plate is underneath that cape. And back plates are difficult, like we've been talking about. And if for someone who doesn't have any help, you can't form a back plate by yourself. It's near impossible. So, that is a basic light kit right there. And as Tony was saying, he's just about ready to go. So.
And they're both actually done at this point. And as you can tell, Aaron's armor is a little smaller than Wes's armor, because Wes has been in the gym. Aaron, unfortunately, is too busy playing video games, which is still cool with me. I'm just playing. Because we had different body types. it's finding the right armor, and even then, the armor might be slightly too big for Wes. So, good question. How do we fix that? It is easier to go down. You can't really build up. You have to scrap the armor. So, Wes would just probably trim maybe 1/4 of an inch off of that. Not as a hard fix at all. It's actually a pretty simple fix. But when he gets the vest, we get the armor, it's very possible that's going to be just the right size. Because my armor looks big on me until you actually get the kit on me and the vest on me, and you're like, okay, it actually works. So let's get back to some questions, because we are going to run out of time here shortly, but I think we still have 15 minutes. Yes, sir.
Going back to the back plate, jetpack goes on the back plate, or is that the strap on?
So it is both. There's a myth of, I just need a back plate, and I'll get with you right next. So even though you have a Chiefs hat on, and you know my team's better. I'm a Raiders fan. I'm sorry. I couldn't help the jab.
Let's show a back plate, Tony.
So
You're back up a little bit.
So
Black on black isn't really working, but if you turn to the side, you know, you see the curvature here, down his back, comes in, you know, and you have these tabs here on the bottom, a little bit, you can see them. I'm not really showing them with the black. But the curve comes up, over, and it wraps around the sides. As far as the lady over here was asking about that, and this is the basic form for a back plate. Variations are accepted. They're segmented, where you can do like a layered scale down. That happens a lot. The rule is a 2/3 coverage of a back.
2/3.
So you're looking right below the shoulder blade is a minimum. So you know, top shoulders 2/3 down. You know, you get into you start getting lower, and let me tell you what, you ain't going to be able to sit down anywhere.
And guys, real quick, because I know the convention staff wanted to remind you guys, when we do leave out of here, we need to leave out of these front doors so the next panel can come in, and please pick up all your trash with you. We want to make this easy for the staff, because I know we're killing them here at this convention. Now, to really answer your question about the back plate and the strapping, jetpack needs to have both. You need to connect it to your back plate, and you need to have a harness, because nothing, the back plate looks out of place, can't it? Because in theory, if said back plate was to fire off, you've just barbecued your rear end. So you want it vertically straight up and down. It looks cleaner. You want it to look like it fits. Yes, sir. Worldwide. There's not a footprint in the world that we do not have. We even have China. We're working on some UMs who are in China. Where's Mike at? Mike, where you at? Mike came all the way from Australia. So we've got a clan in Australia. We've got a group in New Zealand. Europe, Benoit, Alex, raise your hands. These are our Belgium guys. I love these guys. So we've got guys all over the world. In South America, I'm not sure if we have anyone from South Africa. I think we have a UM that I've spoken with.
I think we do. I think there's a couple.
So as Star Wars has become more popular, we're becoming, you know, it's, yes, Mandalorians have not hit the big screen, but we are getting a lot of love in Rebels right now. It's really helping with the recruitment and getting the word out that there is a club for them. Yes, ma'am. So what do we do when we have the armor? Well, of course, we do conventions like this. We do charity events, blood drives, walk for cancer walks. Oh man, the list goes on. Anything you could think of where you would see someone with this armor is, the list is endless. I mean, we do photo shoots. Some of us have done promo videos, which there's a video out there of me in a promo video that I hope never gets out. It was horrible, horrible. Yes, ma'am. I use tactical helmet padding from Cryo Precision because it's on my head the whole time, so I want it soft. But you can use basically helmet padding. You can do the construction thing, band, which gets kind of uncomfortable, but it's real easy to set up. Everyone does their own way. So that's where when you get to with your local clan, each clan will have a different way of doing it. My whole clan, we all order tactical helmet padding because it's pretty easy to set up. Yes, sir. Best way to repaint armor: sand it and repaint it. I know it sounds like I know it, but it's the best way. If you paint over armor, guess what happens? it chips, it starts to become gunky. Now, if you're looking for a grunt gammy look, we have a couple that are like that, but it needs to be done the right way. When you paint these armor kits, which our recruits are actually all done, you don't want to paint on this without sanding it down, because you want the primer to pull in to those plates. So we have all 3 of them done. This was under an hour. This is, by the way, this is a record time. This is, I want you guys to thank the crew. I mean, they did a really great job. This is my entire team. Actually, not my entire team. These guys are all on my team. And here's the thing. I do a lot of the talking for the team. I do a lot of the writing of manuals and stuff like that with Matt. They do all the work. And just like here, this is what the local clans are going to do. They're going to bring you in, and they're going to start getting you going. And the idea is to motivate us, because I'm going to get the contact information from these 3 individuals, and we're going to make sure they finish their armor. Because why? We want people to enjoy us the way we do. The coolest thing is when I put this armor, I'm an action figure, and from Star Wars. That's how I feel. My nephew, he's 9. And he keeps telling me he's waiting for his Ulrich Cantier action figure, and I'm like, you know what, young man, it's coming. It never will, but still, that's what
You can have somebody print them for you.
You know what? We can do a little stick figure off of like little popsicle sticks. I'm down. Yes, sir. Where's local? What do you mean?
Where are you located?
Oh, where am I located? Orlando, Florida. Cassie, raise your hand.
Technically Jacksonville, but it's still Florida.
We have many members here in Orlando, so come by the booth. We can get you set up. We get you going. Yes, sir. Yes, you have to do the gauntlets. It just, if you don't do them, there's a couple of kits that have wraps. I believe we have one in pre-op.
Forearm coverage is how we word it, and there are ways around it. I mean, you don't have to have the extensive, the great big, all these details, flamethrowers, rockets, whipcord housings. It's coverage. I mean, you can easily do just clamshells. Just as long as it's going up your arm and it's coverage, that's what's required.
Yes, sir. Come here, Emily. Come here. Bring the mic.
Easier ways to do it, other than there are. Oh, just got it.
Bring the mic over here. So Emily is she's kind of like our app team mascot. She is such a ball of energy.
Is it because I'm so short?
Yeah.
The joke on the team is she's our hobbit. I know.
So what was the question you said? What were the tricks shaping? Where there? Right.
Most armor is based off of the male body.
Correct.
What other modifications have you found that help you on the female body?
So it's all about playing to your body. This is my armor right here. It's all about playing to your body type. So you're more than welcome to do more male style, but darts also really help in placing armor. We didn't have time to do that with ours because that requires mostly like a duct tape mannequin or a mannequin if you have one yourself that you can cut up that you're willing to. So I also found that, like, 'cause I have really small shoulders, like shaping around bottles or like 2-liter bottles, or depending on how big your shoulder, I used a wine bottle on mine. I wasn't drinking, I promise. But it helped because like I have really tiny shoulders, so just finding things that are similar to your body shape and then just playing into that. I don't know if that helps. Okay, cool. Yeah, so come talk to me.
Hey, couples is the best way to go. We've got Cassie and Ben. They both actually newlyweds. Woo! Yes. And they're here local. Yes, young man. Yes. So he asked if they have templates on our Mandalorian Mercs website. Yes, we do, and they're very accessible. We actually have a link that takes you straight there, and it'll give you the sizing, and there's a lot of instructions on how to actually set it up. You guys all got quiet on me. Oh, yes, sir.
As far as the jetpack goes, what is the material for that? And is it sculpting, or is that fitting together like a puzzle? It just seems like that'd be kind of tricky build itself.
He can answer that.
What was the question again?
He asked about the materials for the jetpack. How could you sculpt it? How could you make it? And introduce yourself, please.
Well, coming from someone that has 2 kits but 3 jetpacks,
Yes.
a lot of what you find is fiberglass kits. A lot of people make them out of Sintra and they fill the gaps with Bondo and Milliput and that sort of thing. I would not recommend putting something inside of the jetpack because a lot of times the fiberglass casts are going to be hollow. I thought I could put something in it yesterday like a water bottle, but I ended up almost choking myself out, so don't do that. But you will find a lot of fiberglass kits. I believe one of our Florida members was scratch building one out of Sintra, which you can find patterns for online. I believe we have all that stuff on our Mandalorian Mercs forum. But for the most part, fiberglass is what all of mine are.
Who's got some more questions? Yes, sir. The what? The weapons. Oh! The weapons are my favorite part. So, my 2 men here on the far left are going to answer these questions, Josh and Alex.
Sure.
Tell them about the weapons, guys.
Hello. Hi. My name is Josh. I'm Demos Ordo on the forum. A lot of people want to go the Nerf route. That's the way you don't want to start if you can help it. It requires a lot of conversion and a lot of time. Nick has a really good example. Nick,
He just took and walked.
will you bring those to me? These are great examples of what you can do. See, he's got, it's not necessarily a Nerf, it's a Nerf style, or is that Nerf?
That is the Nerf TFA Stormtrooper Blaster, and
Okay.
that is the Cassian Andor Rogue One Blaster.
Okay, so what he's done to this, because the weapon's almost to scale, he filled all the screw holes so that it looks like a solid prop. He's repainted the whole thing. And adding the extra ammo box is, of course, a nice customization.
This is a center plate that went over the actual loading area, so I still wanted the extended area where you could see where the magazine would go into, but I wanted to close that off so you could not see the internals. So just a piece of center slapped over, bondoed, looks flushed in.
And then, like, we have this weapon, it has electronics. That's a screw hole you don't have to cover. If you have batteries in whatever toy you have or base, you don't have to cover the screw holes. We use a lot of things called greeblies, which are the things laying around your house. Sometimes the things that, like printer cartridges come in, those are great ammo boxes you can put on the side of pistols and rifles. You can make scopes out of PVC fittings. You can make scopes out of dollar store flashlights. Those are very simple, easy ways to make Star Wars weapons. And asymmetry seems to be the thing. They're usually not the same side to side. It's like one side looks a little bit different from the other, aside from pistols, generally.
So guys, we do have 1 minute. Now, there's one thing I want from all of you. You guys all came here to learn something about Mandalorian armor building. Well, you're actually part of Mandalorian culture at this point. Now, we're a very loud and boisterous group. So on a count of 3, I would like a very boisterous oye out of everyone. It's our battle cry, but everyone. So that way we let everyone know where you guys were at. Got the 501st down there, so we gotta scream loud. Yes. And when you do exit, I need you to exit here towards the right. So, you guys ready? So, when we do an oye, my team is going to do it on 3, and we will show you how we do it. And I got to turn the mic out because
Tony. You got to tell them what it means.
Alex, what does oye mean to you?
Really? You're asking me that question?
Yes, I am.
Help me out here, bro.
We got to be quick. It's our battle cry.
Voice the question onto someone else.
It's basically the Mandalorian battle cry, and you just shout it when you're running into battle. I don't know the exact meaning of it, but I know everybody's doing it, and you just join in, and it's really thunderous and very intimidating.
So we've got to get this going.
A lot of people interpreted it also as to the hunt, and the hunt can be the battle, the bounty, the saving the damsel in distress, whatever it may be.
We're going to run out of time here. If you guys have more questions, come down to the booth. Absolutely, engage us down at the booth, and we can answer your questions. Believe me, people love to do it.
So my team's going to start us off with the first one, and then I want you guys, we're going to do one more after. So 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah! Open the door and wanted to hear us. All right, guys. So on the count of 3, I need to hear your battle cries, guys. 1, 2.